All right, I'm going to set this up real quick. We're in Columbus, Ohio. First night of the second leg on the Rich Robinson tour with Joe Magistro.
Yep.
How's it going, fella? So you came out from
from the Catskills, from Hunter.
Right, you're
where
still
I
up
live,
there in New York?
Yeah, flew in from Albany.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Had an inhuman hour.
That's not so bad. I've done it too, about a 45-minute flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So I know your work. You've been playing with Rich Robinson for all his solo career, almost, aside from the Hooker Brown days, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the solo albums, EPs.
Yeah.
Missed a tour. I did miss a tour.
Did you?
Yeah. After he released Paper later that year, he had asked me to tour with him, and I just started my solo stuff. And it was supposed to be a 2-week tour, and I was like, yeah, man, I can definitely do it. And I think it turned into like a 6-week thing, and then I couldn't do it.
I saw that tour. I want to say it was at the Cleveland Agora. I thought it was you playing drums.
Wasn't
it wasn't
me.
you?
No, it wasn't me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, it was good. It was really good.
He was a good drummer, yeah.
Yeah, who was that guy?
It was Joe.
See, it was another Joe.
Another Joe
Yeah, okay.
from California, yeah. It was the guy that was doing the Zappa plays Zappa for a while.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's
Nice
Weasel
guy
Zappa
too, yeah.
doing that. Right on. Yeah. Very cool. So you guys just got off the Woodstock Sessions 2.
Exactly.
It looked awesome.
Yeah.
I missed it.
You missed 2.
I've been to the first
you were
one.
at 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was great, man. Yeah, it was great to play with Mark and Ed, and I'd met them before and had near misses with Ed, and then we were on Rich's first solo album, Paper, together, but virtually, basically, Rich and I tracked it, and then Ed overdubbed. So we had never actually played together. Yeah, so that was nice.
And for those that don't know, the Woodstock Sessions take place in New York at a studio called Applehead Recording. That's on a 17-acre llama farm right outside.
Something like but the llamas are dead now, so it's a llama-less.
They're all dead?
Llama-less farm.
That's sad. There were no llamas the last time I was up there.
There were none in 14 either, right? That
None.
makes sense.
None,
yeah, it was probably right before that. I know the last I feel like I was doing another session there, and Mike, the owner, told me that he had walked out, I think the day before, and came across coyotes eating what was left of the last llama.
What the fuck? That's fucked up. Damn it.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Why didn't they eat that huge pig? Is that pig still around?
Pig's still there.
Is that just a pet?
Yeah, it was a pet. I think Mike's daughter bought it for him for his birthday.
When? That thing is huge.
Yeah, I mean it's
like it's like Hogzilla. It's like 800 pounds, right?
It's like 800 pounds or something,
Jesus.
I think, yeah.
Now, are you kind of like the session guy at Applehead Recording?
No,
because you do a lot of sessions.
I'm not, but I'm there a lot. Yeah, I know Chris Bittner, who you might have met there.
I met him.
He's the engineer there and co-owner in the whole enterprise. I mean, we've known each other since we were kids, basically, but we've calculated that I'm the most recorded person.
Oh, really?
I've logged the most days there. It's somewhere between 150 and 200, I think. It might be closing in on 200 days now.
That's
session days.
That's a cool job.
Yeah.
That's a really cool place. And if I'm not mistaken, the background of that place used to be Rick Danko's property from the band?
He rented it, yeah. So
he didn't build that barn?
Next to the studio, there's a log cabin, so I think he was in the log cabin. And I think what is the kitchen and lounge part of it used to be like a bungalow.
Okay.
I believe his son lived there for a minute in the other when the building gets attached to the studio now. Yeah.
Okay.
But like growing up, I grew up there, so those guys were just kind of all over. Like you'd see
just run into them.
You'd see Rick and Levon and Garth all the time. You still see Garth occasionally.
Is he still up there?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people up there still.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's just such a small little place.
Yeah.
And it's
and like as a kid, I mean, I liked the band, but I kind of when you grow up in the same town as those guys, you kind of take it for granted.
Right.
So I think there was an aspect of like, oh, it's Rick and Levon. Oh.
Yeah.
And then when I reached my 20, I was just like, wow, man.
It's the same.
I had more of an appreciation.
It's kind of the same way in Akron because the Black Keys, we used to run into those guys all the time. and then they moved down to Nashville actually. So they're down in Nashville now. But yeah, we'd run into those guys all the time, and it just became kind of a thing. It's like, oh, okay, hey Pat, how's it going? It's like, were you just on Letterman, man? This is weird, Here we are in Akron, it's cool. There's a lot of music that came out of Akron.
Yeah. Did you guys know the Buffalo Killers then, or?
They're from Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah, because I know they had some affiliation with those guys too, so I didn't know.
Yeah, they played a place called Musica in Akron, which is a really cool place.
Okay.
You guys could definitely play there.
Huh.
It's as big as this place, so
cool.
That's a really nice place. Yeah, Akron's got a lot of history, like musically.
Yeah.
But so what do you think of the paper reissue?
I love it. I mean,
I
haven't put up the vinyl at all, and really,
that's the only thing I bought.
The only time I actually listened to it was as like a refresher going back out.
Yeah.
But Rich and I had talked. Man, it's before 2014. We had talked about paper, and I think at that point maybe we didn't know if the master tapes or anything existed from the session actually. And then they turned up, and they were Rich's gear was flooded.
Yeah,
in Hurricane Sandy.
Sandy, right?
Yeah. So, so when we made Flux at Applehead, we pulled up the sessions. The transfer was made. There was enough for them to bake the tapes, restore them, do one transfer, and we listened back, and we always remembered it. The basics sounding great, and the mix not being great. And so it was like a perfect opportunity to okay, this stuff survived. Let's do it for real.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing, and that's the best way to do. If you're going to do a reissue on an old recording, he did it the best way he could possibly do it.
Yeah.
And he had to do the vocals over, so
yeah,
the remix made it even better. I mean, the drums they're tighter. They sound a little tighter, and it's just way better. And it remastered for vinyl. The vinyl sounds amazing.
Yeah,
it's such a good move.
Yeah, and songs that we didn't know that we've forgotten about too.
Yeah, well, I mean, a couple of the bonus tracks are my favorites. One being Stand Up.
Stand Up.
That was from the Hookah Brown days.
Totally forgot about it.
Oh my God!
We pulled it up, and we pulled it up in Applehead in the middle of the Flux recording Flux, and we pulled it up one day, and we were like, why wasn't this on the first version
Slamming
of the album?
song, yeah. I was so sad when the original paper release came out and it wasn't on there. I was like, oh, we're never going to hear that song again.
And I think, I could be wrong, like we were, when we did paper, I just met Rich, and there was a lot of stuff that was one take.
Really?
Like, yeah, because, I guess some of the music, at least, was from the Hookah Brown days, and then he ended up doing different lyrics. So a lot of it would be he would play like a demo of it or like a rehearsal thing that they had just for the music, and we'd just go in and cut it once. But we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I believe Stand Up was one take, one of the ones that was one take, and I believe it was the first time we had ever played together.
Really?
That version on the record. We jammed together. Yeah. We jammed together for about half an hour the week before, or maybe a couple weeks before.
Okay.
But I think we went into the studio, and Stand Up was that version of Stand Up's the first time we had played together.
And it just sounds so damn good.
It
sounds amazing.
Because we said, that's pretty amazing. We'd never played together before that.
That's when you know.
Yeah.
It's like we need to stick together at least a little bit. He was probably busy with the Crows at the time, but I mean, you worked with the Crows too a little bit, right?
But that was, after the fact.
Right. Yeah. That was the first hiatus. Yeah. I remember that time very well. I've been following his career the entire time, and honestly, his solo career is almost just as enjoyable. Cool. And that's why I wanted to talk to the other guys around him too, because I mean, you guys have kind of been going on that same journey. And it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, it does. I agree.
I mean, his new album Flux, I knew it was going to be good.
Yeah,
I'm invested forever. So I was like, this is going to be good, but it's not good. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, every song, there's not a bad song on it.
No.
And the drums sound epic too on it. And
cool. Yeah, Chris Bittner, who's the engineer at Applehead, we definitely have like a thing at this point where
you just know each other.
Yeah, we just know what's going on. When we did the sessions, this Woodstock sessions with Rich a couple weeks ago, we loaded in 2 days before to get sounds and stuff, but I set up, and we, put up some mics that we usually put up, and the same drums we've recorded for I don't know how many days, hundreds of days at this point, and that was it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like tweaking. It's like, okay, done.
Now, usually when you guys record, do you do like one song at a time, one song
with
a day?
Rich?
Yeah. And really invest your time in it?
I mean, yeah, it varies. I know on paper paper was definitely one song at a time, where it was, okay, do the drums and guitar, maybe talk about it a couple times, do a couple takes, and then Rich would start overdubbing, do bass, he'd do bass, do other guitar overdubs, and then finish it, and then move on to the next song, as opposed to doing rhythm tracks on everything, and then
does he?
So it's kind of that way now, but now it'll be sometimes he'll save the overdubs, but we'll do drums and guitar always together.
You guys discuss like what the drum sound should be? Because I mean, I know like on Flux, like the drums sound different for each song to serve that song in a certain way. Yeah,
sometimes we'll discuss it. I mean, a lot of times Rich will just leave it up to me, and I'll run it by him. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking so and talk to Chris, the engineer, about it, and then maybe change out some things on the kit. Sometimes, move it to an isolation booth or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's never in that, because
most of the time it's in the big room.
Yeah, there's a huge room and then a small isolation room. Yeah,
we've used 3 different rooms there, and then I don't know if you remember, inside the big room there's a fair size isolation booth.
Right.
And then right off of the control room there's a tiny room, like a vocal booth.
Right.
And we've done drums in that for Rich as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's tight in there.
Yeah.
How do you get a whole kit in there?
Yeah.
Just like 2 drums, probably.
Yeah, it's like snare, hi-hat.
Yeah. It's like, we're just going to make this happen. Just going to do it. That's kind of how the studio is, though. I mean, you just kind of got to... I mean, that's what makes it fun for me. I think as a drummer myself, like that's how I kind of approach recording, too. It's just like you get in and you get the feel for the room itself, because that's a big factor, too, I think.
Yeah.
Not just the playing, but the gear and then the room too, and then you kind of feel it out, and then you're like, okay, what does the song need, and then you just kind of go from there.
Yeah, or some of the stuff, if Rich wanted to approach it acoustically, we'll tighten the drums up.
Yeah.
Or, change drums out. Yeah.
So this is the first night of the second leg of the tour. How did the first leg of the tour go?
It was great.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was, I guess, like 5.5 weeks. So I need a little break after that.
Yeah.
I actually hurt my shoulder like a week into it, so I was a little concerned there for 2 weeks.
Got to stretch that out.
Yeah.
How do you stay in shape on the road? Because the older you get, it's harder.
I don't do anything.
No yoga?
No yoga. No stretching, no warming up, nothing.
I have to every day now.
Yeah.
It's just like, damn.
I should probably start doing that.
It definitely helps, especially playing drums. Because like myself, we go out for like 4 days, 3 days at a time when we do it. And by the 4th day, you're just wrecked.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, man, I'm not 20 anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
So how long have you been playing drums?
I mean, since I was a kid. I mean, always.
Yeah.
Always. And, there was a bit of a scene. I grew up in upstate New York in the Catskills, so there was a bit of a scene up there when we were kids. So that kind of helped. I mean, we're playing all the time.
Right. You're surrounded by it.
All the kids I played with then. I mean, there was a group of 7 or 8 of us, and everybody of that core, like 7 or 8 or 9 kids then are still musicians now.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they're still there in the same area?
No. There's 1 or 2 in L.A., a couple in New York City.
Oh, of course.
There's a couple upstate, but who've gone on to play with big people and had big careers and stuff, So it was cool, So ever since then,
Has it been a career for you most of the time?
Yeah,
or?
Always.
Yeah.
That's all I've done.
That's all you've done?
All I've done, I in my early 20s, I got in a band, and then that band broke up, and we formed another group, me and the main guy, and co-wrote everything and kind of co-produced the first album we did, and did 2 records for Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And did that whole thing. So I was more of like a band guy, songwriting and playing drums and doing background vocals. And then when that broke up years later, people started hiring me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of
It sounds really simple when I say it that way, like it just happened.
It does just happen
but
sometimes.
It
I mean, any kind of opportunity I've ever gotten, it just kind of fell into our laps, It's like, oh, okay, well, let's go do this.
Yeah.
It's, we got a chance, might as well do it.
Yeah.
And you guys are, and you're in a great place for that too, because there's a lot of people up there. Making stuff happen.
You get a lot of people. I mean, in one way you're really isolated, but in another way, it's just an extension of New York City. Plus, it had its own scene onto itself, like the guys like the band, and obviously, and then a lot of amazing jazz musicians who are some of the people that I was lucky enough to hang out with when I was a kid and hang out at their houses. Guys who were in Miles Davis's band and stuff like that. So that was like an invaluable.
You were doomed.
Education.
Doomed from the beginning.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm too inspired all the time to not do this for a living.
Yeah.
I'm going to try my best. Are there a lot of venues up in New York? And
upstate, no. There were a couple then, but there's hardly. I mean, I never play up there, so
yeah.
And I don't think there really is anything now. I mean, I'm sure there is a couple of pubs and stuff, but when I was a kid, it was the two places in Woodstock were the Joyous Lake and the Tinker Street Cafe. So those were the two places. I mean, Tinker Street Cafe, I guess Bob Dylan lived upstairs before he got his own place.
Way back in the day?
Yeah, in the mid-'60s. And the Joyous Lake always had a happening scene. It was kind of the place where bands would come through and on tour. It was held like 300 people probably, but it was also big for the big like 70s session guys from New York who lived up in Woodstock would play and do their side bands, like, I don't know, Steve Gadd and Tony Levin and a lot of guys like that,
That's kind of, it's weird because it's just like a small little mountain town, and there's like a bunch of major studios up there, right? Or at least there used to be, like Bearsville.
Yeah, Bearsville up until, I don't know.
Is that gone now?
Early 2000. It's been gone for over 10 years, but that's when my old band, we did our 2 records there. Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, it was just, they had an A room, a B room, and then a separate barn. And they were booked solid. It would be like, Ozzy was mixing a record in the mix room, and R.E.M. would do all their records there.
That's amazing,
the later
isn't it?
albums.
Yeah,
and
they
it was just
go
nonstop hit records.
It kind of makes sense though, because it gets you focused and gets out of the distraction of the city. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess I could see that. It'd be like a Muscle Shoals kind of thing, because they're way out in the boonies, dude. Some small little podunk town.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's been a lot of great records coming out of Bearsville.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a Lair for a while after that.
A Lair, that's right. I forgot about that.
Like early 2000s, which I know the Crows did their Warpaint
War
album
Paint,
there.
right, yeah.
And, and then Dreamland was another one that was up there.
That's crazy. Yeah. And they're probably all booked at a certain amount of time, or a certain period of time. Everybody's competing.
Yeah.
And Applehead has been there since the early 90s, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. A different location. The location it's in now is from 2000, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So moving on, like, how did you cultivate a relationship with Rich? Is it just a mutual friend, or because it's such a rich, it's, a deep musical relationship, So it's kind of interesting to see how that cultivated.
How did we meet, or how did it develop? Or
well, you probably had to meet first, right? Yeah. I guess how'd you meet first?
Well, my old band Sound Man was working with Rich.
Okay.
Rich had auditioned most everybody in New York at that point, I think, and
really,
the guy kept saying, "Oh, you should try Joe Magistro," and finally did. He finally ran out of people in New York.
That's amazing. I've heard that before in L.A. There's the same problem, because I've had buddies that have moved out to, done the whole stereotypical, I'm moving to L.A. and I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And then they get out there and they can't find a drummer. I was like, you're in L.A., you can't find a drummer?
Yeah.
It's like somebody like Rich Robinson can't find a drummer in New York City. It's mind-boggling.
And I wasn't in the city. I was up in the Catskills. So,
right, yeah. Well,
but
well connected. Yeah.
But and then we hit it off immediately, musically and personally, and just
upward and onward from there.
Years later.
That's amazing.
Still haven't killed each other.
Well, it's probably past that point now. Probably can talk your way through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know how that is too. Being in a band with the same people for a while, you kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
you're out of line. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna stop here.
Exactly.
We'll talk later.
Yep. But
That's sweet.
yeah, but it's been, it's been great. And then, in 2014, he invited me out to open for him too, with my
Prophet Omega.
solo thing, Prophet Omega, which was cool.
Which you're essentially the prince of that band, right?
what was
You're the main guy. You do all the music for Prophet Omega?
Yeah, so it's me home alone basically, recording at home and playing everything, and with a couple guests filling in some things here and there.
Yeah, and it was just you, and I think on that tour it was Dan Wystrom?
Dan Wystrom, who was playing with Rich that year, and then Katrine Ottoson, who played one or two things on the record, who's great, played Matt Slocum for Rich's band's rig, and
real nice guy.
Did keyboard bass with us, and then Dan loved the last Prophet Omega album and kept asking, like, let me play it, sit in on some songs, let me sit on. So I think like the third or fourth show of that tour,
he was in there.
We're like, you want to sit in on something, and then that was it. He was just playing the whole set after that.
You have plans on taking that back out?
I would love to. There are no plans now. Kat and I did a tour together in Europe about 10 months ago. So it was I would open for her, but we did two different duo sets. So we did my set, and then she did her set. We did that for a couple of weeks in Europe, which was cool. But I'd like to do a full band thing at some point.
In the States or Europe?
In the States, but if anything worked out, I would do it.
Yeah,
it's not there's nothing in the works yet. I've toyed with the idea of maybe doing like a New York show or an upstate show in the next few months, but scheduling it's been tough. I've been busy, so actually planning it in advance has been impossible.
Yeah, that's kind of a good problem to have, though. How long does this tour go?
Well, right now, just till the end of September.
Okay. More things coming down the pike?
Possibly.
Maybe.
I don't really know yet. Yeah.
Yeah, right on, yeah. Well, that's cool, man. I mean, I got to say, I've already said it, but Flux, I think, is probably Rich's best album of his career. I've been on the internet saying it to people. I've been saying it to everybody. And I know that's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's subjective, of course, but it's like, as a fan that's been his fan for a long time, and you being a part of that, and your playing was definitely a part of that, being so excellent.
Thanks.
Such a good record. Great drumming. The songs are amazing. And how'd you feel after you heard the playbacks, the rough mixes, where you're just like, this is awesome, dude? I mean,
it's funny,
I know you kind of get too close to it sometimes.
Yeah. Rich and I had a similar, I think, I don't want to totally speak for him, but I think we had a similar reaction. Like, at first it was a bit of work this time, so we weren't sure. We definitely didn't have perspective. And then when we listened back, we're like, oh, it's good. We got some good stuff. And then the first rough mixes, like a week or two later, we're like, oh, there's some more. It's a little better than we thought. And then like months later, after it was mixed and with some time, I think we both were like, damn, I think this is the best one.
I think that's for me personally, any album that's a classic in my mind usually challenged me at first.
Yeah.
And you're like...
Yeah, same for me,
Yeah, you kind of listen to it and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then you kind of give it a few days and then you're like, oh. Yep. And you pick it up little piece at a time, and by the end of the week or end of 2 weeks, you're like...
even being a part of it, being in the room, we were both that way. We're like, it's not bad. And then to like, wow, okay.
Yeah, and then
months
you're like...
later, it's like, it's really good.
It's like, thumbs up, buddy. That's good stuff. Now, I heard there's a rumor that you guys also did a cover album. Is there any truth to that?
That is true.
Is that coming out soon?
That will be out. I don't know when, but that will be out, yeah.
Oh, that's...
Last I heard. It was recorded. I know that.
Yeah, because you were there, right?
Yeah. It was one afternoon. It was me, Rich, and Slocum.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And it just, you picked 10 songs and whatever and did it? You just picked 10 songs or whatever or whatever it was? And
yeah, it was something like 10, 10 or 12, yeah.
I'm going to have to ask you off air what's on that thing.
It's stuff we've played on the road.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't think there were any real curveballs. That's why we did it in a day. It was stuff we had already known. I think we just ran everything once.
Yeah.
There might have been one second take, but I don't even think we did a second take.
Just did it for fun.
All once, yeah.
I know you guys have been playing some killer covers the last few years, and they've been like deep album tracks from bands like Free. Some of my favorite songs that nobody's ever heard of that I tell my buddies about, I've been listening to for years.
Yeah.
And you guys are playing new songs like, Oh, I Wept from Free. I was like, you guys are busting that shit out. Or the old Humble Pie stuff,
Yeah.
It's just like nobody's listening to this stuff, and you guys are playing it, and it's amazing.
Rich is good at pulling out the deep classic cuts.
As you should, because I think we've heard all the hits, a billion times. It's just there's so much other good stuff to listen to out there. So with that, maybe some new Prophet Omega coming down the pike then?
Yeah. At some point.
I'll keep my eye out.
I've started a bunch. And I was debating on whether just releasing like some little EPs or then maybe instead of a full length this time. I'm not sure.
That's the way to go.
And then Kat, who was in the Prophet Omega thing live, the two of us have a thing, Gene, that we're debating on how to release that. So it's not fully mixed at this point, but there's definitely an album's worth of material.
I think the EP route's probably the best way to go for independent people now.
It is.
Unless you have a real solid fan base.
Yeah. And unless it's like, my last Prophet Omega thing was definitely like one piece.
Yeah.
All 13 songs. It's kind of a narrative going through it, so it made sense. But if not,
it's like a what's that called? A concept.
Yeah, concept album. Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. Props to that, man.
It was on one level, yes. On another level, it was. I kind of knew what I was shooting for in the end. Like, okay.
How does that work?
I'm missing this part of something lyrically, I want to try to do this, a certain thing musically with it. So I'm gonna write this thing to fill in a gap on the album.
Do you kind of like write a story theme out all
roughly? It wasn't like it wasn't a narrative like in a time based way, like a linear kind of beginning, middle, end. But loosely,
I always wondered how people do that.
Yeah,
it's amazing to me. Like, there's a band called Mastodon that did that. They're heavier metal band.
Yeah.
They did that on an album called Crack the Sky, and it's like real progressive, but ups and downs and hills and valleys, and just this amazing in-depth story. And it's like, how do people come up with this stuff?
Yeah.
In such a timely manner, It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
But okay, man. I think I'll let you go. I'm sure you have.
Thanks, Bo.
Yeah, excellent. I just want to say congratulations on Flux, dude. It's a great fucking album, and everybody I show it to is digging it. And right on. I'm going to see you tonight and tomorrow, and have a good show.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. This is fun.